Hi everybody, welcome to your 4 to 5. In case we haven't been formally introduced, my name is Eric. Yes, this is Lauren, Monique, and Tanya.
Hi. So professional.
Yeah, just doing the thing.
Thanks for watching us on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and we're also on the News 2 app.
Yeah, anybody of you watching on the Facebook, we also want to say thank you for that. We've got a lot to talk about today, from cruise control to the new movie Halloween Ends, because Jamie Lee Curtis, she lives another day, right, in this movie.
I'm excited to see that one. In addition to Halloween, we're talking about preparations. Have you bought your costume yet, or your decorations? We want you to weigh in on our Facebook page about that. But first, Monique, the weather.
Dun, dun, dun. That's what I want to say.
Cold. Yep. Winter is knocking. Old man winter. He's trying to come in a little bit early. Temperatures for today, though, it's kind of hard to believe we're talking about a frost or a freeze potential. What temperatures for this afternoon in the 70s? 73 in Greensboro, 75 in Burlington, 75 as well in Asheboro. But the weather is always ever changing, and so we're looking at the potential of frost or even a freeze tonight in some spots and tomorrow night in others. So if you are talking the purple areas right near the mountains, that's the concern for tonight, is that freeze potential. But when we look across the central Piedmont, that's when we're talking tomorrow night. So we got one more night before it gets real low, but tonight it's still going to be a chilly one with temperatures falling into the 30s. 37 is that forecast low in Greensboro, but the neighboring cities and towns are still chilly. I mean, whether it's 32 or 37, you still need the coat in my book. It's going to be a cold night all across the board. In the next couple of nights, get even colder. So 34 degrees for your Wednesday morning, Thursday morning at 32. So that makes Wednesday night, Thursday morning, whichever way you want to reference it, the coldest night of the 7-day. And that's for Greensboro. So neighboring towns and city, family in Burlington, friends in Winston-Salem, it may be colder than that. And that's why that freeze watch is already in effect now for your Wednesday morning. And I expect that to possibly roll on for another day going into the start of your Thursday. This is an early sign of winter. The good news is, if you don't like the winter season, if you don't like these 30s, if you don't like this conversation talking about cold temperatures rolling in, well, it won't stick around for the entire 7-day, as temperatures are expected to gradually warm up over the next several days to follow. So again, like I said, this is sticking with us for the next couple of days, and then after that, we're on a warming trend.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Winston-Salem police are investigating a double homicide that left 2 teenagers dead. Last night, officials say officers responded to the hospital to reports of a man being shot in the head. Police identified the victim as 19-year-old Marcus Marshall. He later died from his injuries. The investigation led police to Deacon Way Court, where 17-year-old Corey Simmons was found shot to death. Police say Marshall and Simmons were in the parking lot when an altercation occurred. They do not believe the shootings were random. If you know anything, call 911.
The Alamance County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a knife was found at Eastern Alamance High School. Now, the district says there was a fight between 2 students this morning. Nobody was injured, but after the fight, that's when they found the knife on one of the students. Officers say the student will face criminal charges and discipline from the school. Now, this is the 5th incident at ABSS in the last month. In September, a BB gun was confiscated at Eastern Alamance. A student threatened to bring a gun at Turrentine Middle School, and a bomb threat was called into Smith Elementary. Then last week, 2 students at Cummings High School were involved in a fight involving a knife. ABSS says it has a zero-tolerance policy for violence. So far this year, they have had 19 long-term suspensions.
Well, the Neuse River Greenway in Raleigh is back open following that deadly mass shooting last week. 5 people were killed on this trail after police say a 15-year-old gunman shot multiple people. While 5 days have gone by, the pain from the shooting still lingers in the community. Over the weekend, several vigils were held for the victims. Police say the teenager accused in the shooting remains in the hospital in critical condition.
In Winston-Salem, 7 people are in need of a home after this fire consumed several apartment units. It happened yesterday on June Avenue. Right now, you're looking at helmet camera video from the fire department. You can see flames and thick smoke coming through the roof of this building. Investigators say there were no injuries to anyone who lived there, but a dog did not make it out. Officials are working to figure out what caused this fire.
Okay, get ready for some traffic tie-ups in Greensboro. Multiple lane closures went into effect today. I got a whole slew of them, so here you go. The first two are on Battleground Avenue and Pisgah Church Road. The city is inspecting sewer lines. This is going to affect the northbound lanes of Battleground between North and Elam Drive and Fortune Lane. The same thing goes for Pisgah Church Road between Martinsville Road and Lawndale Drive. Now, the city says the work should be wrapped up by Wednesday afternoon. All right, now we're going to go over to another section of Greensboro. Parts of Summit Avenue will be closed this week between Murrow Boulevard and Bessemer Avenue, and on Yanceyville Street between 5th Avenue and East Lindsay Street. It's so that the city can mill the surface for paving. There will be detour signs, but the city says access to businesses and residences are allowed and will not be affected. Work is expected to wrap up on Friday. All right, here's your last one. This one is on North Elm Street. It's going to be closed for the next month due to a water main replacement. Now, this is just one lane of North Elm. This is in the area between Tankersley Drive and Sunset Drive. The city says drivers should expect delays through November the 14th.
Some drivers love it, others don't trust it. It's a debate played out in cars, often between couples, when you should use cruise control and does it improve your gas mileage? Here's what we found out.
Do you use cruise control?
I do, yeah.
Why do you use it?
It's easy. Don't have to keep the foot on the gas the whole time.
From simplicity to necessity,
It'll definitely reduce the chances of getting a speeding ticket.
a few finger taps is all it takes to give your foot a break,
My girlfriend doesn't like to use it.
if you so choose.
Me and my mom argue about it all the time.
What does she say?
She said she doesn't believe in cruise control. She believes in the human mind and like, do it, you do it.
I trust it under the right conditions.
Bob Larkin is the director of automotive service tech at Dunwoody College of Technology.
What was cruise control designed for?
So the basis is really to help with driver foot fatigue on a long trip.
Which usually includes interstates and highways.
Minimal traffic, minimal distractions, road's pretty level. That's probably the thing that it's really most designed for.
It's also an opportunity to improve gas mileage. Natural Resources Canada did a study in which a car was set to 50 miles per hour on cruise control. It consumed 20% less gas than a car cycling between 46 and 52 miles per hour every 20 seconds.
When should you not use it?
I always assumed in the city, like when there's if there's a lot of red lights and stuff like that.
It's the fact that the speed is changing.
Taking the time to set that cruise control and then have to disengage that between city blocks can sometimes become a hindrance.
So when should you not use cruise control? The list for when not to use it is much longer than when you should, such as on hilly terrain, when you're tired,
Just so the driver's more actively aware of what's going on.
and when the roads are slick. Using cruise control can lead to a loss of control when there's snow, ice, or rain.
Hydroplaning, I'd call it.
So if the driver's actually in control, you'll have a little more feel, a little more sense of what's happening and can actually react quicker.
Now, the newer cars have adaptive cruise control. It can slow your car down. If it senses that the cars in front of you are slowing down, then it can speed up again if it feels safe to do so. So how do you all feel about this? I know for me personally, I'm not a fan of the cruise control, but my parents are. So whenever I'm traveling with them and I'm the one driving, they're like, why aren't you using your cruise control? We're on the highway, no one's in front of you. But I'm just not that comfortable, and I think when I was learning how to drive, I didn't use it a lot. So till this day, I might seldomly use it, but I'm always in the back of my mind like, oh, I'm gonna need to stomp on my brakes soon. So
I have that adaptive cruise control, and I also have the lane mitigation thing.
Yes,
So you know what that
right,
is?
yep.
And so I don't like to have both of those on and just sitting there, because it literally puts you back in the lane if you start to go
Yes.
over.
Oh, okay.
The
but
car's driving for you.
It's too creepy for me. I don't like that. And then with adaptive, if I need to pass the guy in front of me, if he's going slow and I need to get over, it slows me down to his speed, so then everybody on the left is going past me and I can't get in the line. You know,
Okay.
sometimes you have to speed up and then zip
Right,
over
yes.
around.
Yeah.
So I don't like using it a lot.
I don't like using it. I like to have my foot on the pedal or on the brake.
Yep.
My husband uses it all the time, and he swears by it. He says, this is what keeps me from getting a ticket.
Oh, okay.
Well, now there is that.
So,
Yep.
you know,
Set it and forget it.
set it and forget it.
Yep.
All right. Hey, don't forget, I know it's Monday, but Friday football favorite game of the week, I mean, it calls out to you now, doesn't it? Voting is underway. Just look for this story at the top of WFNYnews2.com. There are 5 games for you to choose from, and you can vote as many times as you like. The poll closes Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
You have me at Friday.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
I am talking about how to get along better with your boss. Oh, I have an echo in my ear. Okay, great. Thank you. Is it still there? Is it still there? Ah, it's gone. Thank you very much.
All right, today, National Bosses Day, the time of year to recognize the hardworking bosses overseeing the workplace.
Every year, employees across the United States show their appreciation and thankfulness to their bosses for their treatment throughout the year.
All right, nobody told me this today.
And I did not know this either. And so I'm like, ooh,
we should have brought donuts
that did not
for
happen.
the bosses.
Yes,
So
yes.
we can make good on this tomorrow.
Guys.
Why can't we just do it tomorrow?
That's right.
Can't it just be Bosses Week and we could
it's
just
the-
do it any old time?
it's-
Isn't it nice to just do something nice no matter what day it is?
It's the day after Bosses Day. We're going
Okay.
to celebrate that. Blanca Cobb has a master's degree in psychology. We're talking about this, so we'll get right to it now. What's a tip that bosses could use that would strengthen their relationships with their employees?
One tip for all bosses is to match your employees' strength with a position, a role, or a job where they can be successful. Let's think about this also. Let's say there's a new area that you just see that an employee has great potential, but maybe they don't feel quite comfortable. If you give them the support and the training that they need to succeed, you're going to have a very happy employee, because the more invested a boss is in the employee, the more invested employees tend to be in their bosses and in the company.
All right, so what seems to get problematic between a boss and an employee? And most of us are on the employee side versus the boss side, right?
A lot of times it's communication. There's a breakdown of communication. Some people are analyzing the boss when the boss says hello. Okay, are they in a good mood? Are they in a bad mood? Is it a good time to talk? A lot of times breakdown happens in communication because people listen to speak, not to understand. So this is where you ask a lot of questions to really have a thorough understanding of the situation or their point of view, because this helps decrease assumptions. And we don't want a lot of assumptions in communication, because that definitely can lead to misunderstanding.
So what about those who might not get along with their bosses? What can an employee do to have a better relationship with their boss?
Well, there are two things. Well, there are a lot of things, but I'll talk about two. One is about timing. A lot of times employees might want a boss's attention or time, but you have to figure out when's a good time for them. Some bosses are more alert or have more time in the morning versus the afternoon. Or maybe they have things that are stressed on their mind that they can't give you their time. But if you ask them specifically, hey, I want 30 minutes uninterrupted of your time, when can you make that happen this week? you're more than likely you're going to get it, and you'll see the world of difference because you're going to be able to concentrate on you and on that situation for 30 minutes. Another thing is so many people want to advance in their career and make more money. We get it. Everybody is looking at that bottom line. But if you can think about the company goals and where the company wants to go, or maybe it's a new area that the company hasn't even thought about yet that you can explore with your boss. So when you talk about company goals and you talk about your own advancement, then that's going to parlay into more money also. So it's just bigger than yourself.
Blanca, when is their National Employee Day? I still haven't heard about that. Oh, that's the hardest laugh ever.
That's a great question, and I don't know what the answer is to that one.
We're still waiting. Thank you, Blanca. We appreciate it.
All right, you can continue the conversation, right, with Blanca?
Yes, you can continue the conversation with Blanca on her Facebook page, Blanca Cobb, body language expert.
You know, when we talk about the River Run Film Festival, usually we're talking about independent films. This is a great festival, by the way, but this time it's going retro with a Halloween theme. I spoke with Executive Director Rob Davis about the screenings, and some of them have a very special guest involved in this. Take a look.
Well, we're very excited to be presenting Beetlejuice, and of course it's Tim Burton's take on a ghost story. So that in and of itself tells you a lot of what you need to know. But we're so thrilled because the film's director of photography, Tom Ackerman, is going to be joining us, and he'll discuss his career briefly prior to the film. He'll talk about this film, and then he'll receive our Master of Cinema Award. Of course, I think Tom has been director of photography on something like 38 feature films, and his filmography really is a who's who. Everything from Christmas Vacation to Jumanji to this film.
So from the funny scary, we go to just plain old horrifying and terrifying. Yeah, their second film is Nosferatu. This is a classic. It's a silent film. You probably have seen these images of this guy before. This goes back to the 1920s, and it was produced then. This is one of the scariest movies, they say, in all time.
A lot of people have said that the vampire presented in the film, Count Orlok, is probably the most gruesome portrayal of a vampire ever presented on the big screen. I think that quite possibly is true. We have a version of it that is meticulously restored visually to the director's original intent, and also has the original 1922 score with it.
So it's interesting, they, with silent movies back in the day, like at the Carolina Theater here, they would have an organist playing along with it.
Oh, cool, to set the scene in the mood.
That's right.
Okay.
But now what they did was they took the original score that's supposed to be played with it, but they burned it onto the movie, right? So when you watch the movie, you'll hear the organ playing and see the words.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's interesting. I watched it. It's on YouTube. I've watched it on YouTube before. It's really
something about that black and white and the
yes.
How the film goes, it makes it look scarier to me.
I would agree. Spookier for sure.
Yeah.
But cool that with the Beetlejuice screening that they'll have the director of cinematography on that movie there in person to take questions, and he's talking about his lifetime work experience. He did Anchorman, he did Jumanji, he did, he named another one too, I can't think of it. Christmas Vacation.
That would be a treat for people who go to see this. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I like, this is, this Saturday, I think. We've got the information on our website if you want to buy tickets. It costs to see the Beetlejuice movie. I think it's $12, but it's free for the Nosferatu.
How many people are going to be yelling out, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice?
3 times.
Right, 3 times and see what happens.
I love that. All right, let's talk about, I think we're going to check our forecast. Is that correct? Because it's going to...
Yep, and earlier today it was rainy. It was a wet start to the day, and then as we moved through our Monday, things changed all across our skies. We had the rain picturing here on our Winston-Salem sky cam. Then the sun came out, then a few clouds sticking with us for this latter part of your day. You could see some rain well in the distance on our Winston-Salem sky cam. This is a look at rainfall totals all across the area through this 4 p.m. hour. Areas well to the south of us stay dry, but it looks as though most of the rain, the heaviest rain concentration, is right around Winston-Salem and Greensboro. So let's zoom in and put some queries on here. The greatest rainfall total I'm seeing is just north of downtown Greensboro, around 1 inch of rain, and the same there around Winston-Salem. This is the corridor that got most of the rain. Elsewhere, it did see some showers, but those were the wetter spots. This is a look right now at the radar, and it's actually on target. We did expect for another stray shower or storm to roll through between the 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. hour, and we're seeing that now on the radar. There's some heavy downpours pushing in towards Lexington, and then an area of rain exiting out of Winston-Salem. So let's zoom in closer. This downpour just now moving into Lexington. Again, these are just very small pockets, and then we have another area of rainfall that's exiting out of Winston-Salem and may hold together to bring in some rain into Greensboro. Didn't see any lightning strikes with it. Temperatures all around the area are still in the 70s. Asheboro, one of the warmer spots, at 75, 72 in Greensboro, Burlington at 75. These winds are still out of the southwest, which means the front itself that brought the active weather has not crossed. But once it does, the winds will transition out of the north and even pick up. We're seeing wind gusts now upwards of around 15 miles per hour, but as we go through this afternoon, we could see up to 25 miles per hour. More with the 7-day also coming up.
Halloween is just 2 weeks away and the clock is ticking to get your costume and house decorations. So I asked you on my Facebook page, have you already started planning for the spooky holiday? Leslie Allen says, nope, but I put my tree up already.
Whoa.
That's kind of early.
All right.
And then Diane Milton wrote, already got candy this year. My 10-year-old granddaughter wants to be in charge of giving out candy.
That's fun.
Nancy Fox, I bought candy and I do turn off the front lights and stay at home. So I guess the candy's for herself. And then Carolyn Council, have all my decorations out. My children are grown, but I still decorate for me.
Cute.
Betty Hunt, stay at home with the lights in front off and pray every child is safe and that my mailbox is there in the morning.
And probably your car's not egged.
Yeah, or
Yes.
your tree wasn't TP'd by a ton of toilet paper.
That's right. We put because our neighborhood is really good about trick or treating. So we all go out. If the parents walk, even the ones that have older kids that aren't trick or treating, we all just kind of walk the neighborhood with the little ones. But we put a big bowl of candy out. 2 years ago, somebody did not just only take the candy; they took our bowls.
They took the bowl
took
too?
the bowls, all the candy, and it was gone.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
the
were
risk you
decorative.
take. I mean, some kids follow the rules,
Yeah,
but
right.
Because I have done that before, put it out and said, you know, be a good ghoul and just take
Yes,
one.
that's what
And
we
I
do
also
that.
had a camera out.
I
As
like
you
it.
would, for
like
Two
it.
Wants to Know, had the camera on. And most kids actually only took one in our
Good.
neighborhood, which I thought was really surprising.
yeah, I think most kids have good intentions.
I
If
do
someone
too.
takes it, it's probably an older kid, like
It's
a
probably a high
teenager
school
or
kid.
something like,
Yeah, right. And that's exactly how they
I
laughed.
got this free bowl. Like, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a really nice
Sorry
bowl,
about
by
your
the
bowl,
way,
but sorry.
wherever you are. If you haven't checked out our 4 to 5 live stream, you're missing out because we talk about things that we don't even talk about on the news. We're on during the commercial breaks. We'll chit-chat it up there. So we have an exclusive Facebook group. It's called the 4 to 5 Club. Just search for it on Facebook and click Join Group. Easy as that. We'll be back. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Tanya Rivera and Lauren Coleman.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Watching us on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and also on our News 2 app.
Yeah, and in this hour, we're talking about home prices on the rise. We're talking about, this is really interesting, tomatoes being turned into water. Not tomato juice, water. And your favorite thing about the colder months, what is it? We're going to make sure that you yap with us right here on the 4 to 5 Facebook group as well, so you don't miss out on anything that's happening. But first, we're going to take a look at this. By now, you've seen the news, right? #1 ranked Alabama lost over the weekend to the Tennessee Volunteers. In a shocking upset, Tennessee was able to kick a field goal as the clock was running out to win the game, and they were led by this guy. That's right, quarterback Hendon Hooker.
Now, if this name sounds familiar, it's because Hooker actually is a Dudley alum. He played football there from 2014 to 2018, accounting for more than 100 touchdowns, and he's continuing his career down in Knoxville.
Yep, Hooker and the Volunteers beat Bama 52-49. He threw for 385 yards, 5 TDs, besting last year's Heisman winner Bryce Young. He talked about it after the game.
We came here to do a job, and we work our tails off every day to do that to the best of our abilities. So, we expect to win, and when we come out on the field, we're going to give 100%.
Guys playing at an unbelievable level. Smart, tough, competitive, decisive, accurate with the football, short, medium, deep. He controlled the game for us and used his feet when he had to. He's the key to the ignition that makes us go.
The Volunteers are now 6-0, and they are looking to make the college football playoff with Hooker.
Yeah, the upset was wild from the beginning to the end. It was a great game.
It was a great game.
Yeah. So check out how the fans stormed the field.
I mean,
really stormed the field.
Yeah, I mean, you can see all these videos here. I mean, they tore down the goalposts and they paraded those goalposts through downtown Knoxville, as you do when you upset the #3 team, right?
And for me, I don't know. I think, look, now that here they come. Yeah, the thing with me is like they do tear down goalposts. I've seen that. I've never seen them take them out of the stadium and walk around the town with them. I thought that was pretty crazy.
And down to the river.
Yes.
Right, where then they like chuck them, right?
So my neighbor is a huge Tennessee fan and grad, and he told me, because I didn't know this, I saw a lot of the kids had cigars. And then he said that's what we do when we play Alabama. So if they beat Alabama, it has nothing to do with anything else but Alabama. If you're playing Alabama and you beat them, then they smoke a cigar.
Where does that root from?
I have no idea.
Well, they haven't been able to do that in a very long time.
A long time. It was 15 years.
Alabama, they're known to win all the time.
All the time.
I know, which is why I think the entire nation, except for the Alabama fans, were like, come on, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I was pulling for them just to see somebody else to win once.
Right, you want to see somebody else do all the good things.
Now they can vie for the championship. They're #3.
All right. Hey, speaking of football, don't forget about Friday Football Fever Game of the Week, because voting is underway right now. Just look for this story at the top of WFNYnews2.com. There are 5 games for you to choose from. You can vote as many times as you like. The poll closes Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
3 bullet points to summarize the weather for the next couple of days. So breezy through your day tomorrow. So starting late tonight, going into the day tomorrow, we will get winds gusting up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. AM frost is possible the next couple of mornings, all depending on where you're located. Temperatures will fall into right around that freezing point and lead to some AM frost. And then by the next couple of days, we're getting warmer. So it's not something we'll be talking about all the way through Friday or the weekend, as temperatures will be gradually warming up day by day. The cold front crossing through is going to usher in that colder air mass, and why we are talking about these freeze and frost potential going into the next couple of days. Breezy conditions as well, all in association of that front. So wind gusts, like I said, will pick up at times with that front crossing. We're talking wind gusts upwards of maybe 25 miles per hour at the most, but other than that, maybe 15 miles per hour in some spots. And this is through your afternoon on Tuesday. We'll be seeing some breezy conditions. Notice the arrows are pointing from the northwest. The direction of the winds are dictating that we're getting the air coming from the northwest. Guys, it's snowing in the Northwest. So we're getting the cooler air coming in from a place that's dealing with chilly temperatures, and that's why we're going to be feeling it for the midweek. So like I said, breezy conditions, cold weather, and then we're warming up. Look ahead to the weekend as temperatures are in the 70s, so 50s tomorrow, 50s on Wednesday, 50s on Thursday, but then we're talking 60s by Friday, and the weekend we're even in the 70s. So we just have to stick with this chilly air Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Old man winter is just coming in for a brief little visit, and then it's back out before it really settles in for the winter season. We're going to get back into the warmer weather as we go into the end of your weekend.
It is time for your 4 to 5 roundup. The Neuse River Greenway in Raleigh is back open following a deadly mass shooting last week. 5 people were killed on this trail after police say a 15-year-old gunman shot multiple people. While 5 days have gone by, the pain from the shooting, though, lingers in this community. Over the weekend, several vigils were held for the victims of the shooting. Police say the teenager accused in the shooting remains in the hospital in critical condition.
Winston-Salem police are investigating a double homicide that left 2 teenagers dead. Last night, officials say officers responded to the hospital to reports of a man being shot in the head. Police identified the victim as 19-year-old Marcus Marshall. He later died from his injuries. The investigation led police to Deacon Way Court, where 17-year-old Corey Simons was found shot to death. Police say Marshall and Simons were in the parking lot when an altercation occurred. They do not believe the shootings were random. If you have any information on this, they advise you to call 911.
The Alamance County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a knife was found at Eastern Alamance High School. The district says there was a fight between 2 students this morning. No one was injured, but after the fight, a knife was found on one of the students. Officials say the student will face criminal charges and discipline from the school.
Triad doctors say they're seeing an uptick in RSV and other respiratory viruses this fall. They say these types of viruses are pretty common, but it's the children who are being affected the most right now. If it's a cough that you or your child is fighting, Navant recommends children 6 months and older to get a flu shot. When in doubt, they say you should always contact your pediatrician.
COVID cases are looking good, but maybe not for long. Doctors warn about a particularly rough winter ahead. The CDC is now tracking a new COVID-19 variant. It's called the BQ.1. It is a mutation of the Omicron variant. The new variant makes up about 10% of new infections since first identified a month ago. Along with COVID boosters, doctors recommend you get a flu shot every year. And this year, they say people 65 years and older especially should get a stronger shot. Those with weaker immune systems qualify for the bonus protection. Doctors say it's the best way to prepare yourself for what could be a bad flu season.
Today, for the first time ever, you can get a hearing aid over the counter. That's right, places like Walgreens, Best Buy, CVS are selling hearing aids. The FDA wanted to make hearing aids more affordable. The over-the-counter devices are geared towards adults 18 and older with mild to moderate hearing loss. It is recommended that anyone thinking of buying one should receive a hearing test first.
So this year, mortgage rates are the highest they've been since 2002. Between these rates, inflation, and record high prices, the chance Americans can afford to buy a home gets smaller and smaller. Housing affordability is down 29% from last year. Skyrocketing rates are helping cool some of the country's hottest housing markets.
We have seen mortgage rates double in just this year. And in some markets, we are starting to see prices go down from those sky-high levels.
It's just a changing market. 2008, that was a crash landing, but it's going to be a softer landing. It's going to be over a period of time as people get adjusted to the new rates and the new purchase price.
Experts say despite the price cuts, the average monthly mortgage payment is still higher than if you bought a home at the peak of the market. It's important to remember you can always refinance, of course, just try to ease that pain a little bit. But it is, right now I just did a story with a realtor last week, and she was saying the 3-year adjustable and the 5-year adjustable rates, which usually people say don't do that because you're at the mercy of the market when those 3 or 5 years are up. She's saying those are bigger now because at least now you can afford it for a short term, and if you have to refinance into another 3-year RM, then you can. But I've never, that's the first time I've ever heard somebody say do that.
Do that,
So
yes.
I'm not a homeowner, so some of this is going over my head. Say if I was, looking to buy a home anytime soon, what is that looking like within the next few years?
So she says they don't expect it to ever go back to where it was before, but it might drop a little bit. But with all the new businesses coming in with the Toyota and the Boom Supersonic and all that, she said our values may not fluctuate very much at all. So you're just gonna have to watch interest rates and hope for the best. But those interest rates of 2 and 3% used to be, not anymore.
When you're looking at 6.5, that's an ugly interest rate.
Lot.
No thanks.
We'll help you out, Lauren. You
Okay.
just let me know. We'll be right back.
All right, whether you say tomato or tomato, they're by the truckload and they're lined up for processing in California's Central Valley. Inside the sea of red is much more than pasta sauce, although there is pasta sauce, but there are also millions of gallons of drinking water inside these pipes. Tomato juice is being transformed into tomato paste, and then the leftover liquid is sent on to a shipping container where the water making magic unfolds.
It's a byproduct, it's thrown away. So what we do is we cleverly catch that evaporative condensate and then we run it through our purification process. And our goal ultimately is to positively impact 100 million of the world's poorest people, the world's most vulnerable people by 2025.
All right, so they've been doing this in Australia for nearly a decade with everything from carrots to sugarcane. What used to be disregarded or discarded as wastewater is now cleaned and then stored into tanks to be sent on to local areas in need. It's interesting about how this kind of works, and I wanted to know how you felt about this tomato water. Here are some of the responses I got on Facebook. Bobby says, I would try it. I love tomatoes. I'll have to hear more about it on the 4 to 5. Pam says also, what? You try first. Is it going to be like tomato juice? And one last, William wants to know if it's just going to be like tomato juice. And actually, it is the byproduct of the water. So it really is just clear water.
It's just water.
Wow.
Yeah, they take everything out of it.
But let me tell you, this is not cheap. The bins to do that, the machine to do that is $1 million a piece.
Wow.
So it's not like, oh, well, why didn't we been doing this for all this time and just whatever else? When I read about it, I was like, oh, that's why it's the cost.
But it is, I mean, you think about how juicy a tomato is. There's a lot of water that would go to
95%
waste.
water.
Yeah, go
There's
to
a
waste.
lot of fruits that have a lot of water into it. I think it's great, especially if they're using it for those in need. But it also made me think about milk, how there's so many milks made from like different nuts and different
Almond
things
milk.
like that, but it still tastes like milk. So
Uh-huh.
that made me wonder, yeah, it probably still tastes like water.
Water, yeah.
Plain old water. Yep.
Right.
That's good. All right, well, since we're talking about fruit, we have some bad news about oranges, people, and I do love my oranges. According to the newly released orange report for Florida, production is expected to be 32% lower next year. They say it's because of Hurricane Ian, that makes sense, and the fierce winds that it brought, damaging winds really to thousands of oranges in groves in Florida. So most Florida oranges are used to make juice, and this season's drastically lower harvest combined with the slam from the hurricane will kind of press prices up and force producers to rely heavily on California and imported oranges from Latin America. I would still pay more for oranges because I love them that much, but
A good orange. If you haven't had a
Yes.
good orange, you don't know what you're missing.
See,
So
I'm
good.
not a huge orange
You know why?
person.
Because you haven't had a good orange.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need a
Gotta
good
get you
Florida
one.
orange. I mean, I like clementines and things of that nature, but I'm not huge on orange juice either. So if I go to a restaurant and they're like,
Oh,
do
yeah.
you want orange juice or apple juice? I'm going to
You're
take the
always
apple
doing
juice.
apple
Or
juice?
for your mimosa, do you want orange juice, pineapple, or
Right.
cranberry? I'm taking pineapple or cranberry.
So when we go to Florida, we always get the unpasteurized juice from the Florida Grove,
Yes.
right?
Oh my
When we
gosh.
go there, and it is the best,
The best.
tasting orange juice ever. The
Wow.
stuff that you get,
like Tropicana and
Yeah, no, it
Minute
does
Maid.
not
it's like
taste
orange drink to
Yeah,
me.
that's
compared
exactly
to it.
right.
Yes.
No, if you get a real orange, and even some
Yeah.
restaurants still do that. They'll
Yes, they squeeze it
they'll
right there.
Squeeze the orange. That's the real deal.
That's the way to go.
With
Also
all the
costs
pulp
a
and
lot.
everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The pulp is good for you,
Yes,
girl.
All of it. All of it. All right, we'll be right back.
I'm still keeping a close eye to the radar as some rainfall is moving through parts of the area. Just south of High Point, we have these heavy downpours that are exiting out of Davidson County. But as you can see all around Summerville, there's also another pocket of rainfall moving to the north and west. So friends up in Reedsville, heads up, rain is moving towards you. Just a little bit further south, right around Thomasville, we have a soaker, and it's moving as well to the north and east, excuse me. Greensboro, you're up next to get some more rain. This is a look right now at our downtown view of our sky camera in Greensboro. And you can see those clouds starting to look like Batman's coming to town as that rain approaches the area. So for tonight, temperatures falling down into the 30s. This is not the freezing point. It's 6 degrees warmer than that, but that doesn't mean it's not cold. It is going to be a chilly start to your day tomorrow, and by the afternoon, we're not warming much. We're staying in the 50s, 53 with partly sunny skies and a breeze that will stick with us through the day. Didn't get you enough time to really soak in this 7 days, so here you have it. Cool start for the next couple of days. We're in the 30s overnight, and then as we go through the day on Wednesday, another night in the 30s, and on Thursday, another night in the low 30s. Both Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, those are the 2 days where we have that chilly possibility, and that's when we have that freeze watch in effect for Wednesday morning already. We're going to see how things pan out for Thursday morning to see if we have another freeze warning or watch issued for that time framing. But we're going to get warmer after that, so the weekend's looking good.
All right, so as those cold temperatures start creeping in, I asked you on Facebook to tell me what you like most about the change from summer to fall. Here, we'll start out with Robin. Robin said cooler air, beautiful colors. A lot of people said that. MD Moore said the comfortable weather and the leaves changing color and inching toward the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Robin said not melting on my morning walks. I love that. Brittany says leggings and long shirts with boots. And James disagrees. He says nothing, keep summer.
There's always got to be one.
Likes
right?
the hot weather, yeah.
I get that.
love fall.
I get that.
I love it too. I said to wear apple bottom jeans and boots.
Yes,
with the fur.
she said that and I cracked up.
I'm singing the song right now in my head.
That's
okay.
it. Yep.
That's my favorite part too, because I love my Uggs. I have like at least, I think I have like 6 or 7 pairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love Uggs. So I love getting rid of my comfy shoes. It's like I'm wearing like slippers all day long.
It's like fall clothes to me. Like I love the like joggers and sweatpants and sweatshirts, and it just it makes me feel comfortable and like I want to relax. I don't want to do anything else.
Or also just trendy, like a nice jean jacket, a fedora, you know,
clothes.
nice like half-cut sweater or something.
I'm all about the comfort food. Right, the things that you don't want to eat during the summer, right? Like the white chicken chili and that kind of stuff that you never had that. Oh,
no, you've got
I will bring you some because I made it.
Looked at me the
I
exact
made
same
it on
way.
Sunday in preparation for the cold weather that was coming.
Not chicken. I usually put turkey in my chili.
Okay. Well, this isn't red. This is a white
It's a
chili.
white chicken.
Yeah,
It's pretty
Yeah, it's a different kind of like taste.
All right, we're doing that.
What's the white part?
So it's not a tomato-based chili. It is like white northern beans, and I put some black beans in mine, but it's more like a clear broth with the chicken in it and different kinds of spices.
Sounds good.
All right, I'm in.
Once again, we're always talking about
I know, we're always talking about
at least
food.
once during the show. We're gonna go.
We'll be right back because we got to talk about some more food with the camera off.
Carbon fiber Model 1s, MLS. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're at Alamance, Burlington High School, Eastern High School. We are talking
Is this it? This stems from President Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 of.
Hello, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Hi there, miking the check, checking the mic. 1 2 1 2. Parents want to know what the school district is doing to keep the students safe.
Covering the mass shooting in Raleigh, where investigators say a 15-year-old shot 7 people, was heartbreaking. I lost track of the number of times I saw someone cry out there on Friday, including myself. When a horrendous crime like this happens, it's normal to feel like our safety has been ripped away. We're questioning what's wrong with the world. But here's what's giving me hope in this tough time. Within hours of the shooting, the community, our community, came together to help. There was a church who showed up to offer food to families in the neighborhood of the shooting. I asked them why they wanted to be there, and one of the volunteers said the most profound thing. She said, they need to know the world is still full of love. Then she added, we need to know the world is still full of love. When tragedy strikes, it is up to each of us to drown out the bad actors with love and compassion. Boy, has North Carolina done that. In addition to the meals for families, others showed up with therapy dogs, trained counselors volunteered their time, and tens of thousands of people have donated to the families who lost loved ones. The world can be dark at times, but that light can always be turned back on with a little love. That's my 2 cents. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
This is what's left of several apartments in Winston-Salem. A fire left 7 people without a home.
Fire officials still have not figured out what started this blaze. Those 7 people are now stuck trying to find a place to stay. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake spoke with those impacted to learn just how